You should slide over just a bit so it can be centered.
Oh,
there.
dear God. So it's going right now?
Yeah, but I can edit all this out. Oh, that's so fun. That's what we're talking about. Hey kitties! So today, my mom has agreed to discuss her plastic surgery experience because you guys were like all about it and really wanting to know her experience, and it's about boobies if you're wondering. I think I already said that, but yeah, so we'll just talk together about her experience, and if you can hear banging, my dad's fixing downstairs.
Okay, hi, my name is Roxanne. I'm her mom.
Yay!
Okay, so I'm going to start off with when we got to Toronto, and then we went and saw Dr. Peters for a consultation, and he sat us down, he showed us the implants, and we touched them, and we put them in our bra, and she wanted like triple Fs, and I said, you're stupid, and he said, well, I can't do that to you.
And I cried.
Yeah, she did cry, actually.
So stupid.
Because he's like, he measures you here. And it's what
I forgot about that. See, that's why it's good that she's here.
And he said, no, you can't have like triple F because they just won't go in.
Yeah,
we can't shove them in.
He's like, this is how big you want. Look. Like,
yeah.
it won't even...
It's your width, right? Like your rib cage. Like, you can't just like crack your ribs open.
Yeah.
So that's how you knew right there he wasn't a quack.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't going to just make money off of us and say, okay, sure, I can just get whatever in there. No. And she was very upset, by the way, very upset.
Stupid. I'm so glad now, but I was just, for some reason, very immature at that moment.
But maybe I should go back a bit. When Samantha, because it'll get into the story of it, but you'll understand, she has a heart murmur. Mm-hmm. It's nothing serious, but you need to know that during this story that she's got a little heart murmur in her. So, yeah, okay. So anyways, he didn't want us to be totally out. He wanted us with twilight sedation. But the reason for that is because it's in and out of consciousness, and you don't bleed as bad. You don't get an infection build up when you're trying to drain all the fluid out after surgery, and because you're more conscious, then you are out. If that makes any sense. Right,
yeah, and for waking up from surgery, you're not like as groggy and like throwing up, because when you just get boobs, you don't want to be like throwing up like that. So that's why we chose the twilight sedation.
So he asked, I need to know if you can take twilight sedation. He goes, it's a lot similar to going to the dentist and having a filling, and can you take freezing? And Samantha's like, oh yeah, and I'm like, yeah, I can.
And I said, I've actually never had it before, so probably.
I said, I've had oral surgery, so yeah, I mean, yeah, it freezes. And he goes, so one needle is good? I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah, well, he asked us, how many needles does it take? And I said, I've never had it, so then they're like, okay, we'll do it from there. And she's like, one.
And then he said, okay, so we'll see you on Thursday. This was a Tuesday. And we said, okay, and I was going to go first at 6 a.m. in the morning, and she was at 9. And so we went and did our thing, and we walked out of there, and she goes, you lied to him, Mommy. And I said, lied to him about what? She goes, you told me when you have surgery and you can feel everything that's going on in your mouth. Yeah, I said, yeah, whatever. And she goes, you shouldn't have done that. Because I've had like probably 4 needles stuck into my mouth and say, I can still feel that.
Oh my God, for breast implant. She's like, oh,
forget it. I'm just like, whatever, I can feel the pain. I'm not going to keep seeing this big needle go in my mouth. And go. So I just like, whatever. I can't feel it anymore, but I can. But anyways, she's like, you shouldn't have done that. I'm like, whatever. That's different. You're like, you've got a drip on you. You're going to be out. So that's totally different than that. But so then I get to the hospital. First of all, I had to walk from the hotel at 5:30 a.m. to the Mediclinic, which was probably... like, this is Toronto, so what, 6 to 8 blocks, pitch black, and I was almost there, and I crossed the last street, and there's a bus shelter, and I'm walking, and I could see the building. I was like, okay, the security guard's gonna be there, let me in. All of a sudden, I can hear this, I'm gonna get you, I'm gonna get you, I'm gonna get you, and I turn around, and there's pardon my French, there's a friggin' old lady with a shopping cart charging me. I was like, what the hell, it's 5:30 in the morning, and I jumped right into the friggin' booth, the bus mall. There she goes, flew right by me. I was gonna get you. Okay. Whatever. So I got out and just ran right to the building. Please let me in, please let me in. And he saw me right away. But anyway, so I went upstairs.
So that's to start, like, so she's already, her mood is like, oh my God, what's happening?
So I got upstairs and they prepped me for surgery. And all's good, and they always put a drape, like they put a drape on you right here. So, you know, like you're laying there and you can, you know, so the nurse can see you and you can't see what's going on. First thing that happens is they put a drip on me. And then I hear
vein, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like right here.
And I hear Elvis Presley music.
That's what I said too in mine. I remember that.
I went, oh my God, Elvis, I love Elvis. I said, we're gonna get along famously, aren't we? And then all of a sudden I just started to nod off. Like you do, right? Because you're like having a drip.
Yeah.
So you start nodding off. And then the nurse looks over, right, at me through the drape that was over. And she went, I think she's good. I could hear everything. I was looking at everything.
Oh.
But I mean, I was groggy. Yes, minded, I was groggy. But it didn't last long. As soon as like I'm just listening to Elvis music and they're prepping and everything, and I can all of a sudden I feel a needle go into the one boob. I feel another needle go into the side of my boob. And I'm just like, okay, and I'm like groggy, but I'm feeling it. I'm awake.
Oh, you could feel like 100%?
I'm awake. Then all of a sudden, I feel incision cut. I felt everything.
Oh,
I could feel
goodness.
it, everything. And I just went, I can feel that.
Like
And then she
awake.
looked, and the nurse looked at me and she went, oh, hi. I was like, I can feel that.
Oh my
And they went, you can feel that? I'm like, yeah. And they're like, okay, well, you shouldn't be talking to us like that for one thing. Well, I can feel that. I go, like, what else am I supposed to say? So here I could feel another needle going into me.
And
then another
freezing,
needle.
Right? They were
Yeah.
freezing you because she
Yeah,
could feel it.
You could see the nurse too do something with the drip. I don't know if she turned it up, but they did not. I requested not to be put out, so they weren't going to put me out. But they did turn up the drip. I remember her doing something to it. And then all of a sudden, I can feel him rip my tissue.
Oh my
And I had to and my toes, honestly, were like that the whole time because I could feel it. And then she looked at me again. I don't know, maybe we were like a half an hour into it or something, but she looked over the drape at me, and I looked at her, and I went like that, and she went, hi, you're still looking at me.
That's scary.
And I went, you know what, I can feel that, like I can feel his incision like right inside my tissue. And they went, Jesus, okay. So then they gave me another needle, and he said, start freezing her other boob and freeze it a couple of times, because then maybe let the freezing work first.
That's so scary that you went through
And
this.
he actually, at one point, he said, do you want us to put you out? And I said, no. I said, I'm fine. I said, no, I'm good. But I felt him shove that implant in there. I felt him move it around.
Ew.
And I'm telling you, it was the worst pain I've ever been in my life.
Oh.
My toes were just like that under my blanket. They were just like, no more. I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to like lay here, pretend I'm asleep. Just pretend you're asleep. And then here came the other boob, and it wasn't actually so bad because they froze me as they were doing this one. He said, let it work, right? Let the freezing work on her. Maybe that'll be better for her. So yeah, sure enough, I felt that cut.
Oh my.
And I had to finally say again, I can feel that.
Oh.
And
this
he
is like
really,
Saw,
yeah.
like the
and
movie
he's
Saw.
a great. He. Don't get me wrong. He was a great surgeon. He kept saying, "I really would like to put you under," and I said, "No,
Yeah.
I'm okay." I said, "I know it's boob number 2, so just do it." He shoves it in, and the weirdest thing is, and he said, "Okay, we're gonna sew you up," and I was actually a little bit more groggy because she kept turning up, right? So I was like, "Okay, that's fine, okay," and I kept just doing that, and then I went, "Where'd the Elvis music go?" And they're like,
I didn't remember heard this.
Oh yeah, I know. He goes, "Oh, do you want us to change the cassette? Because it's over. It's been over for half an hour." I was like, "Oh, because I could hear it." He goes, "No, it's been gone for about a half an hour."
That's good at least.
And I said, "No, that's okay." He goes, "How about I'll sing to you?" I'm like, "No, that's even worse." He goes, "Well, we're going to sew you up and we're good to go." And the weirdest thing, he must do it to see if you'll have a jolt or something. She probably didn't feel it because she was out
the whole time.
He, at the end, in the incision there, said, "We're done." He tweaked my nipples. And I almost said, "You pervert. You freaking pervert." But then I realized, okay, it must be to see if I'm going to have a twitch, right? To see if I'm feeling.
Yeah.
See, you have to have some sensation. And
Makes
I did,
sense.
of course, because I was ready to jump off the bed and punch him in the face. You pervert, you. What? I realized what it was after.
Yeah.
So then they wheel me out of there, and I go to the recovery room. And
That
she
is
said, "Can I have
insane.
a drink of water now?" And she said, "Yeah, you can have a drink of water." And then I hear Samantha out there. "How's my mom? Is she okay? Can I go see her?" And she comes on, "Oh, Mommy, hi!" Just big smile. She goes, "How are you?" And I went, "I hope you can handle that." And her face went, what? I said, that was fucking painful.
And I said, you were awake?
And I was like, I felt everything. Everything. I felt him cut my boob. I felt that implant push in me. I felt him close my tissue. I felt a tube go in me.
Oh.
Because he put tubes, he put a draining tube in us with a little bag we had on the side of each of our implants so that it drains all the fluid, like, you know, all the toxic waste.
Yeah, and if you get
so
an
you don't have it in build up. That's why he don't want
Yeah.
to put you out, because it's better for recovery that way. And she just went, okay.
I was like, we're gonna be awake? Like, we're gonna be awake during surgery? What the heck? Who's awake during breast implant surgery?
Yeah. And then I'm just laying there and I'm like nodding off, and I'm just nodding off. And I hear at one point Samantha go, can I go to sleep now?
Yeah.
And so she was obviously out. And Dr.
You heard
goes,
that?
of course you can go to sleep, Samantha.
As soon as they put the IV and I was out the entire time. I'm so glad I did not feel implants going in my body like you did.
And then I'm actually almost asleep, and all of a sudden I hear Dr. Peters in the other room going, Samantha, you need to wake up. Samantha, wake up. I'm like, what's going on in there? Because I know she has a heart murmur. All of a sudden you hear the heart monitor going beep, 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 beep. I'm like, oh my God. And I'm half asleep, right? And I can't yell. I'm trying to yell. I'm like, excuse me. And I'm loud. I couldn't do it loud. I was like, because I'm all taped up. And I'm like, hey, excuse me. Hey, excuse me. And nobody's hearing me. And he's like, Samantha, you need to wake up. Beep, beep, beep. So I'm like, oh God, I gotta bang the wall. Somebody's gotta hear me.
Oh my
He's like, oh, I'm gonna raise my arm. Oh, and she came right away. I was like, ow. She goes, yes. I went, what's going on in that room with my daughter? And I went, no, she just keeps kicking off blankets. She's so hot. And they can't. They have to keep her stable, and they have to keep her calm, but she's like kicking and kicking and kicking blankets off. I said, well, I heard the beeping loud, and then there's this like, no, because she's so hot. So he said that he would just stop for a while. I know, I heard him say, we'll take a break then, okay? And he goes, yeah, no, but he's doing it again. They're almost done. I was like, oh, okay, good. And so she came in the room, and I looked at her, and Samantha just... Wait,
I wasn't awake ever.
God. It must have been like about 11:30 by then. I've been in there since 6. So I'm just wide awake, ready to go home.
And awake the whole time.
I mean, sure, I was groggy, but this was just like, okay, well, I'm like, can we go home yet? No, well, your daughter has to come awake a little bit first. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, like I was
12:30, 1:30, 2:30. Can we go home yet? Well, she has to be awake before we leave at 5. Or if she could stay here. I'm like, that's okay. Like, can we go home yet? So finally, we got her up. She was up and she had a drink of water, but she was very, very groggy.
Oh, I remember that.
So the nurse got a wheelchair. When Samantha got into the wheelchair. And then her ex was with us, Randy, because we had to take somebody with us. Because he couldn't be alone. He wouldn't let us be alone to get a cab and stuff or whatever, right? To go back to the hotel.
Or even just to take care of ourselves.
Take care of ourselves,
surgery.
Yeah, you're bandaged quite up really hard. And we had bags, these sacks. Ugh. It was like gun sacks.
And not only that, but it was painful. Like, like sitting up and stuff. He like helped us by like pushing us up.
We had to actually monitor our draining every day. We had to I think it was like every 3 times a day or something like that.
Yeah.
We had to do take the measurement of the fluid, because if it wasn't enough fluid being drained out there, he would never have let us go. You have to make sure you're not getting an infection, and that fluid, that stuff has to come out of there. It has to come out. So anyway, so she gets into the wheelchair, and guess who
passed out.
Randy said, I'll go get a cab. So guess who's the one pushing her out of the friggin' clinic? Me. In a wheelchair, and the nurse goes, oh my, I'm like, see ya.
And I was still passed out in the wheelchair the whole way.
She was. And then we got back, and I'll tell you a story. This was a Thursday we had it done. So Friday, a lot of teenagers come there to party because our legal age is only 19. And in the States, as you know, it's 21. So they come there to party. Well, of course, right? Well, me and Samantha slept on a bed propped up on pillows because we were so sore. And we couldn't move. Like, seriously, it was
painful.
It was painful. It was very painful. But you know what? It's worth it. Look.
Oh, yeah.
I love my boobies.
No,
they're not big enough. I can't kiss them, but I try all the time. I wouldn't change the experience with my daughter for anything in the world.
Yeah, no,
either.
and it was fun.
It was great. But at one point, I had to phone down. This was like Saturday night. Because Friday night I went on partying all upstairs.
Yeah.
Saturday morning I woke up. I phoned downstairs and said, like, there was a lot of noise, and they said, oh yeah, they told us, yeah, it's a lot of Americans that come across the border because they can drink. And I'm like, okay. She goes, so this will be the last night. I'm like, are you serious? Go tell them to be quiet.
And like they were loud.
Like
you could tell they were right above us because they're like bang, 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 and like music.
Like really, we need our rest.
And
like,
we had a balcony.
Yeah,
so
we had a balcony.
You could hear them off the balcony too.
Yeah, it was converted from an apartment to a hotel, so it was awesome. And we had a kitchen and everything, so that we could eat and stuff, right? So we planned that really good.
Yeah.
But at Saturday night, here we go again, and that was it. What did I want to do? And she stopped me. I went out there on the balcony, and she's, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm taking this sack, and I'm throwing it up there.
Like the blood and mucus
tissue, and I'm going to freak them out. And she's like, throw money. Don't, you can't do that.
And she's like, look, I got a perfect shot. I'll just go like that, and it'll go right in their room, and they'll all leave.
But I didn't. I held myself back, but I sure wanted to. But Sunday, all of a sudden, there's no noise because you have to be out of there by 11 o'clock as checkout. So they were gone,
so
right?
We're so happy.
Yeah, we were so happy. But other than that, I think that's about it.
Yeah.
I like them.
Yeah, and we're happy.
I wouldn't change the experience, but you know what? It's not for everybody. You know, like, you know, it's funny because Dr. Peters, when we had to take pictures of our boobs, front, sides, remember, and all that, and sent them, we had it, like, because we were doing it on email, and we sent it to him. The one thing he said was, if you guys didn't write your names on them, I would never have known who was who. I thought it was one person.
So similar.
Yeah, so similar. And this one, boobs have grown so much, she probably can't even see her implants in there. They're probably buried. Trust me, they're those implants, if she took them out, her boobs would still be double D's.
Neither of us have had complications or anything, and
no. It made me laugh, but you know what? And we just went like that together, by the way.
We always do.
It's painful, but I don't regret 1 minute of it at all. I'm happy with them. He's awesome. Dr. Peters is the best. He was the best. He wasn't somebody who was trying to make more money from us.
And not creepy, because like you're showing your boobs to him like all day long, and not at all.
Oh, I'll say one thing though. When we were going back to get the drain tubes out, do you remember that?
Yeah, I explained that to him a little bit.
Well, the one on this side, he must have wrapped the tube around like a little bit too much, because when he was pulling it out, I could feel it going. This one was out easy, no problem.
What hurt me is when he was taking off the bandages. I am such a hairy person, not like black hair, but like fuzz. Like I have fuzz everywhere. So when he was ripping off the bandages, it was like ripping my hair out. That's what hurt me.
But you guys want to hear my experience, so there you go.
There you go.
See you some other time. Bye.
Thank you for watching. Bye. I know, but I would want to wear this underneath and have the collar popped like this, wear this kind of like over it, like that. Oh my god, I've been like dying for this look. Like I really want to do this look.